The room was tense, filled with an air of anticipation and unspoken words. A young patient, brimming with determination and a sense of urgency, stood before the CEO, CFO, and founder of Keypoint Health Services. This wasn't just any meeting, it was a pivotal moment, a chance to address long-standing issues. It was a confrontation that had been brewing for years, a culmination of frustration and hope.
Why has the $11 weekly personal needs allowance stayed the same for over a decade? This question hung in the air, demanding an answer. The leaders of Keypoint Health Services shifted uncomfortably, their faces betraying their unease. The CEO, trying to maintain composure, began to explain budget constraints, citing various financial challenges. "Budget constraints don't buy dignity," the patient retorted, shaking their head in frustration. The CFO interjected, citing inflation and operational costs, attempting to justify the stagnant allowance. $11 doesn't buy what it used to. It's not enough to meet basic needs, let alone live with dignity. The founders exchanged glances, realizing the gravity of the moment and the truth in the patient's words. Finally, the founder spoke up, expressing concern for all patients and acknowledging the need for change.
"We understand, but change takes time." This response, though sincere, felt inadequate.
"Time is a luxury we can't afford," the patient replied, their voice filled with urgency. The room was silent once more, echoing the urgency of the situation and the weight of the conversation. The patient had made their point. Now it was up to the leaders to respond, to take action and make a real difference.
The patient wasn't just speaking for themselves, they were a representative of countless others who felt voiceless.
Every week, I have to choose between basic necessities. Their experience had taught them resilience. I've seen friends go without because they can't make that money stretch. The stories were raw, each one a testament to the need for change. We need more than just a Band-Aid solution. Their experiences were not isolated incidents. Every day is a struggle, but it doesn't have to be. Their words resonated throughout the room. The patient was not just advocating for themselves, but for a community that had been overlooked for too long.
As the discussion continued, the patient shifted focus, bringing attention to a broader issue that had long been overlooked. They weren't just advocating for a higher allowance, they were highlighting the need for systemic change.
"I am fighting for those who can't, for those whose voices are often ignored or silenced, and I deserve to be compensated for this work. This is not just a job, it's a mission." It was a bold demand, but one grounded in fairness and justice. The leaders were taken aback. Advocacy is hard work, often unrecognized and undervalued. It takes time, energy, and courage. It requires dedication and a deep sense of responsibility. The patient was making a case for the importance of their role within the community, emphasizing the impact of their efforts. "I'm doing what others won't, and that deserves recognition and respect." The room was silent once more, each leader contemplating the weight of this demand, realizing the depth of the issue. It was not just about money. It was about respect and acknowledgement. It was about valuing the unseen labor. "I am willing to stand up for what is right, even when others won't. I am here to make a difference. And that means I should be rewarded for my efforts. My work should not go unnoticed." It was a compelling argument, one that challenged the leaders to reconsider their stance and think deeply about their values. The patient was not backing down. They were resolute and unwavering. They were fighting for change, and they wanted others to see that. They wanted to inspire action and provoke thought.
Behind the patient's brave front was a sea of silent voices. The other patients, each with their own struggles, watched from the sidelines.
Many of them are too afraid to speak up. They fear repercussions. It was a somber truth, one that highlighted the importance of the patient's advocacy. Every day, I hear whispers of discontent, but few are willing to put those words into action. The fear was palpable. For many, the risk of speaking out was too great. They chose silence over potential backlash, leaving the patient to fight on their behalf. Online, there's little to no presence. People are scared to share their stories. The patient was a lone voice in a world where social media could have been a powerful tool for change. I am standing up for them, because someone has to. The patient was determined to break the cycle of fear, one voice at a time.
The patient was relentless in their pursuit of change.
Advocacy is about more than just speaking up. It's about making a difference. They understood the power of their actions, the potential to inspire others. I want to show people that their voices matter. The leaders were beginning to see the impact of the patient's words. I am not just fighting for myself. I am fighting for a better future for all of us. Their passion was infectious. The room, once filled with tension, was now brimming with possibility. We can make a difference, but we have to be willing to fight for it. It was a rallying call that resonated deeply. I will not stop until we see change. The power of advocacy was clear, and the patient was determined to harness it for good. Change doesn't happen if we keep doing things the same way. We need to be brave enough to disrupt. We have to innovate. We can't let outdated rules hold us back. We have to think differently. We need solutions that address the real problems. We can't let fear of change paralyze us. We have to move forward. The patient was not content with simply making demands. They wanted to dismantle the status quo. It was a call to reinvent the system, to challenge the norms that had kept them bound for so long. The leaders were beginning to understand the depth of the patient's determination. It was a challenge that required vision and courage. The patient was asking for a complete overhaul of the system, one that valued people over profits.
Just when it seemed like the meeting had reached an impasse, an unexpected voice chimed in, breaking the silence that had settled over the room.
I think we need to listen. We have overlooked these perspectives for too long. We can't ignore these voices. They represent the very people we aim to serve. They are vital to our growth. We can be pioneers in this field, setting new standards. We can set the standard for others to follow. Our actions here can inspire a broader change. The allyship was unexpected but powerful, providing the patient with much-needed backing and a sense of hope. The board member acknowledged the challenges faced by the organization, but emphasized the need for empathy and understanding. It was a turning point, a moment when the patient realized they were not alone in this battle. They had allies within the system. Support was emerging from within the very ranks they were challenging. It was a sign of changing times.
Together, we can make this happen. This partnership is just the beginning. It was the beginning of a coalition, a partnership between patient and leader, built on mutual respect and shared goals. The momentum was building, and with it, the possibility of real change. The energy in the room was palpable. The patient felt invigorated, their resolve strengthening with every word of support. They knew they were on the right path. The allies' words were a reminder that change was possible, that not all leaders were resistant to progress. There was hope for a better future.